Good morning, this is John Hauser with free advice, coming to you live and in person from somewhere deep inside eastern North Carolina. And I'm here to ramble on and tell you some of the things that I think about. And I hope you enjoy these few thoughts. I started doing this YouTube thing a while back, and I really am having fun with it. I am having fun doing this. This to me is better than all the stuff I write. I have written volumes, but this is more fun than writing. I want to talk to you for a few minutes, and I'm going to start doing some, people do reaction videos. Have you seen those where they take somebody else's video and they react to it? Well, I'm going to do something just a little different. I'm going to do book reactions because I have read over the years lots of books. Because remember, I am world famous intellectual, even though you've never heard of me. I'm having too much fun here. But anyhow, I'm going to review books. Now, there's a lot of books constantly coming out on the market, and I have to tell you that a lot of the newer books that are coming out are just fluff. I've read some of them, and I'm like, they simply rehashed somebody else's PhD or somebody else's thesis. So I'm not going to be reviewing many of those books, maybe one or two, but I haven't seen that many great books come out in the last few years. Now, I'm going to tell you right up front, just so you'll know, in case you haven't watched any of my other videos, that I am a Christian and that I do read the Bible on a regular basis, and I consider the Bible to be the greatest book ever written. Now, if you haven't ever read the Bible, don't prejudge what I'm about to say, because a lot of people don't read the Bible because they think it's some kind of religious stuff. You'll find very, very little in the Bible about religion. As a matter of fact, you'll find thoughts and verses that actually are against religion. And if you read the words of what Jesus said to the religious people, you will be shocked if you think that the Bible is about religion. The Apostle Paul said, forgetting those things which are behind and pressing on. So he talked about forgetting those things which were in the past and pressing on toward the mark for the prize. And he also said that God will supply your needs and that we can do all things through Christ. There's some great... I read the Bible on a regular basis. I also go to church on a regular basis. If you happen to be in the Wilson and North Carolina area, I would like to invite you to where we go to church at. We go to Tabernacle Baptist. It's on Airport Road. You can look it up on the internet. Tabernacle Baptist, right across the street from Wilson Christian Academy. If you arrive there, and if you need some help, just ask for me. My name is John Hauser. I'm generally around there in most of the services. I don't miss much. But I am a Christian. But I have read a lot of good books on philosophy, and I have read a lot of good books on motivation, and I have used what I found in those books to be helpful. Now, I want to talk to you about a book this morning that is, in some people's eyes, very controversial. And I'll tell you, it's mostly the liberals that consider this book to be controversial. But most of them haven't read it. But I will tell you that several presidents of the United States, including Ronald Reagan, is my understanding, that he has read this book. And I'd highly recommend that you get a copy of it. Now, I will tell you, it's big. It's like 1,100 pages. It took me a while to read it. And the way I read it was, before I retired, I was an outside salesperson. That means that I was traveling around to different locations and doing presentations. One year, I was flying to a lot of different locations doing presentations. So while I was traveling, I carried this book with me, and I would try and read at least 10 pages a day, because it is a very big book. 1,100 pages. Woo! So I'm going to introduce it to you right now. And don't panic when you see it. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it and why you should read it. Here it comes. Get ready. There it is. And let's turn it to the side to make sure you can see it. You can see it's very well worn. It's a copy of Atlas Shrugged. And there's the receipt from when I bought it. Oh no, that's just a piece of paper I'm using as a bookmark. I was actually reading it for a second time. I read the book the first time. Now, I don't know about you, but when I have books, I make notes. And I read this book the first time, started December the 24th, 2011, and I finished it. It took me till April to finish reading it because I was only reading a few pages a day. This book, actually, my wife got me this as a Christmas present in December of 2011. She got me this as a Christmas present. Now, I've made notes on the inside of all the different pages where I found some very important thoughts. And there, as you go through this book, you're going to find some very important principles about capitalism and free markets and why capitalism is important. You're also going to see, or you're going to read the story of an individual by the name of John Galt, who says he's going to stop the engine of the world, and he's going to do things differently. Sounds like our current president. Sounds like our President Donald Trump. You read this book and you start seeing some very interesting things. I'll give you a quick idea. Just a little bit of background here. It took the author 10 years to write this book. She finally finished it in 1958, and nobody wanted to publish it. They said, oh, it's like science fiction. It's too big, 1,100 pages. She finally got it published. And when she got it published, it became a bestseller in many, many years. It's been a bestseller year after year after year. And this is Rand's book, and it says on the back, the astounding story of a man who said he would stop the motor of the world, and did. It's a great book. You need to read it. A lot of good principles in there. She talks about communism. She talks about socialism. She talks about capitalism. She talks about free markets. She talks about all the things that you really do want to have in your country. Now, a little background on this lady right here. She actually immigrated from a communist country when she was a little girl. And she wrote a book called We the Living, which is very hard to read because it's based on fact. But I may share that with you sometime. But what I'd like to say is go out, get yourself a copy of this. You can get it at the public library. You can order it at Amazon. By the way, I'm not selling this book. I'm just telling you. Go to Amazon, order a copy of it. Let's see here. She talks about government crackdowns. I'm just reading my notes. Government crackdowns. She talks about the profit motive. She talks about what happens when the government takes over the railroads and when the government starts taking over the businesses. Let's see here. She talks about philosophies, and she talks about, on page 611, she talks the power of the welfare system. She talks about the power of the welfare system and how politicians use the welfare system in her book, use the welfare systems to benefit themselves and enslave the population. Go out and get yourself a copy of this book. It's called Atlas Shrugged. It's a great book. Now, I will tell you that I have read several of her books. She wrote a book called Anthem. I went to high school in the 1960s. I read that book while I was in high school. It was a good book. And then, through the years, I think I've read everything she's ever written. And it's worth reading. So, you have just discovered that I am truly a conservative. And you have also discovered that I do little intellectual exercises. And I claim to be a world-famous intellectual. Take it for what it's worth. So this is John Hauser having fun making these little YouTube videos, and I will tell you this. Go out and get you some books and start reading. Reading is one of the best things you can do. Reading especially at my age, here I am, this is year 76, and reading will keep you sharp. Thinking will keep you sharp. As I said in one of my other videos, I drive for Uber. It gets me out of the house. And I also have a variety of hobbies. But you need to do things to stay mentally sharp and stay up to date with what's happening. And I tell you what, if you'll do these things that I recommend, here's the results. If you will do these things that I recommend, you will look better, you will feel better, and if you will bathe regularly, you'll smell better. So this is John Hauser saying thank you for watching.